Welcome to Influencer, our series of conversations with the world's thought leaders, the people creating the trends that we are all talking about. He is one of the most iconic voices in radio and podcasting. Adam Carolla's mix of comedy and brutal honesty has built a loyal fan base that earlier this year helped him take the Guinness World Record for the most downloaded podcast in the world. You know him from Loveline, Crank Anchors, The Man Show, The Car Show, and The Adam Carolla Show and Podcast. It's the ace man himself, Adam Carolla.
Thank you, thank you.
It's nice to have you here in my studio. I was used to being in your studio.
This is nice.
It is. I miss you.
I miss you.
We had a fun time, a few weeks of fun.
I miss us.
I miss us together as a unit.
Just us. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, but you're here to announce something big. You're like continuing to evolve the whole online empire you have.
Sure. Well, not big for other people, just big for us.
No, but that's good.
We got an app coming out. We got a launch of a new website all coming out this Friday. And you guys can go to aceanywhere.com and check the whole thing out. We're running this thing where the more people get, the person that gets the most people signed up or on the app or however it goes, we're going to fly them out. We're going to put them up. They're going to do the podcast, and they're going to have a beer with me. And when I say a beer, I mean multiple beers, because there's no such thing as one. That's
so much fun. And you have such voracious fans. I mean, they do anything for you.
Yes.
I feel.
Yeah.
Is that amazing to see how it's grown? And how do you think that connection has changed from traditional to now new media and digital?
You know, it's this thing where it's sort of like this. I never really broke this down, but in movies you have almost, if you do features, you have almost no connection to your fans. You're playing the part of a gay celloist who's lost his right foot in a landmine.
You love that character, didn't you?
Yes, I do. I do. It was some of Van Damme's greatest work. But if you do features, you're totally disconnected from your. And if you do TV, you're like kind of connected, but they know you as the TV name, not as your real name. And then if you do radio, you're kind of like, all right, there's definitely more of a bond there. And then if you do a podcast, it's like you're literally inside of your fans. And I mean that sexually. You are, you know, it's back and it's forth. And they know your name and they know what you're thinking and they know what's going on a daily basis. So it's a lot more intimate.
That's amazing because you started the whole podcasting when you were taking a break from traditional.
Yes.
Is it crazy how this took over? Did you see it getting this big?
Yeah. Taking a break from traditional is like Richard Nixon saying, I took a break from running the country.
I'm not taking a break. You still do what you love doing.
I was fired. I was let go.
It's okay. I know how it feels.
We've all been there.
Yes.
It's part of show business. Yeah, I stopped doing terrestrial radio because my gig ended and then started the podcast and never looked back. And as a matter of fact, terrestrial radio, just regular radio, the gigs are few and far between, and I actually turned down a multi-year, multi-million-dollar deal about 6 months ago just to continue focusing on the podcast. So it's been good.
Well, what is it about podcasting that you love so much that you would turn down a deal like that?
Everyone always wants to talk about the freedom and, you know, no FCC and sort of speak your mind and all that kind of stuff and drop F-bombs and S-bombs and all the other bombs that we probably can't drop here. And that's great, but it's really about the schedule. Like in terrestrial radio, that is carved in stone. When I did Loveline, it started at 10 p.m. every single night. And when I did mornings, it started at 5:59 every single morning.
Yeah.
And if there was a gig on a Friday and you and I wanted to be there and it started at 8 when I normally do my podcast, I would say, let's do my podcast at 4 in the afternoon. And we'll bank it, and then I'll have time to go home and get ready and go to the gig. So it's just the crazy flexibility of it. If you're going to go out of town for 3 days, you could bank 3 of them, go out of town for 3 days.
I should do that. We do this live.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I don't do anything else.
Oh my God, is this live right now?
Yes, it's live.
I am so nervous.
I know, I'm sure. Do you ever get nervous?
Camera?
No.
Yeah, but only in weird times. Not when I should.
Sometimes it sneaks up on you. Now, but you also now are doing the car show on Speed TV.
Yes.
I know you're such a huge fan. Your studio is a garage.
Yes, it is a garage.
So were you must have been so happy for that? I know you were really wanting to join, you know, a show, a car type of show at the time when we were working together.
Oh, was I? Yeah. Oh, well, you know.
This is before this started,
but
and
you
it
know,
got announced.
The great thing about television now is whatever you're into, there's a show.
Totally.
So if you're a guy like me who loves vintage car racing or who loves cars and who loves motorsports, then you just get a show where you host a motorsports show and then somebody pays you to go race your vintage car. So whatever you're into, and it could be German stump porn, it doesn't matter, there's a show out there.
What channel is that?
It's deep cable, but it's out there.
And online too, I'm sure.
Yeah, the point is, whatever you're into, like I'm into all this home improvement stuff, there's 250 home improvement shows out there. By the way, my first pitches, like in the mid-90s, to all the cable outlets were like, hey man, I should host a home improvement show. And at that time, there were no other there was This Old House. And everyone was like, beat it. And now there's 275 home improvement
and even
shows.
more, I'm sure they're going to launch online. And speaking of online, we have some user questions, some fan questions. All right, so we had on Facebook a lot of questions about the Man Show, like Arnold Valentino, who asked, "Do you miss the Man Show?" Are you sick of that question, by the way?
No, I don't. I don't miss anything really.
Yeah.
Actually, there's one thing I miss. Taco Bell used to make something called the Bell Beefer.
Yeah.
It was like a hamburger, but it had taco meat in it. Out of sight.
Really?
Out of sight. Yeah.
Good to know.
I missed the Bell Beefer. They stopped it like 20 years ago. But no, I don't miss it, and not because I didn't like it. You know, there's this weird thing where, like, if you like something, you should miss it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure we all liked our third grade teacher or our girlfriend from our junior year of high school or something, but do you miss it? Or was it just a part of your life, you know? I don't want to be staring in the
You're a guy,
rearview
you're a
mirror.
man. You don't like overthink things like women do, maybe.
No, I mean,
oh my God,
it was great. It was me and Jimmy in an office and chicks on trampolines, and we hired all our friends and we'd play softball games, but it was a ton of work because we were doing all of it. And as far as miss it, it was just like a chapter, and then we moved on.
Yeah.
So I look back fondly at it, but I don't miss it. Not like the Bell Beefer.
All right, so Brad.
What a name, the Bell Beefer.
I've never heard that one.
Get rid of the Bell Beefer. You guys
bring
got to
it back.
Google
You
the Bell
should bring
Beefer.
it back. Start a Twitter trend.
Yeah.
All right, Brad Whitmarsh asks, what podcasts other than your own do you listen to? Or do you maybe, I don't know, be honest. You're about brutal honesty.
Yes. I don't listen to anyone's podcast, including my own, but I'm in the garage monkeying with cars. I'm not a computer guy. I do it, except for my wife's podcast, for crying out loud, because she would beat me with a slipper if I didn't say that.
You watch and analyze it.
I just listen and analyze it. But I'm really, it's weird because I am like a guy who plays in the NFL, knows nothing about the game, and doesn't know any stats and doesn't follow any teams. I appreciate what everyone else is doing, and I know those guys, and I know they're funny, and I assume they do good podcasts, and I know they do good podcasts because I've been on everyone else's podcast, and I go on their podcast, and I go, oh, this guy does a great podcast, but that's because I'm sitting across from the person.
What's the secret sauce to a good podcast?
It's really the host. I mean, I hate to say it, and by the way, the Bell Beefer with a little secret sauce on it. I'm really hungry
Bringing
now.
back the Bell Beefer.
No, it's like this. Like for a million years, Dr. Drew and everyone would always say to me, and it's always sort of insulting, like, what's the key to what you guys do? Like, what's the twist? What's the hook? What do you guys have? I want to talk about format. What's different about this format? Why is this format so successful? And I'd go, you're looking at him, Dr. Drew and me. We're both really good at what we do. We work off each other really well. We have a lot of reps. We have a good chemistry, and that's why this show's good, because if we get rid of us, then you just have two people answering questions, and that's not going to be good. And many people have tried it. It's not like we invented anything. The thing about a good podcast is you have to have a good host. You can't have a good podcast without a good host, and if you don't have a compelling host, then you have nothing.
You're not going to build community or anything.
I don't see, you know, Joe Rogan or Chris Hardwick or Mark Maron or any of those guys, or Bill Simmons or any of those guys getting any traction if they suck.
Of course.
Because otherwise, there's nothing.
Well, you rock.
Thank you.
It's so great to see you again. I'm gonna stop by. I'm just gonna like come by your studio with the hood and come by and be like, oh, report the news.
Yeah,
when you need a break. All right. So check out Adam Carolla's new website at adamcarolla.com and be the first to get his new app by going to aceanywhere.com. Go do it, or else.
Thank you.
And create, what's the beef bell thing?
Bell beefer.
Go find a bell beefer at a place near you. Thank you. You rock.